You're gonna be a specter that's following Oscar.
Oh my god!
That would be
you
pretty
could
wild.
be Oscar's wife. Could that be insane?
Bro,
Holy shit.
Wait.
you could help keep Oscar's wife company too. Man, this would be great.
Oh man, Jody for real.
So many opportunities. And welcome back, everyone, to Millennial Tavern. We are back at it again, talking about keeping Reginald's dead wife a companion, apparently. So, all that to say, we are playing D&D. We do not have Oscar this evening, but we do have Sir David, we have Sir Evan, and we also have Sir Alec. And we are about to dive right into some more Dungeons and Dragons. So, why don't y'all go ahead and get us up to speed? What has happened as of late?
I might be dead.
That's a great question.
You might be dead.
There was a lot that happened. So
Is it EV? Wait, spell your name. Yeah.
so we
074. No, 7571. Okay.
we did have a little bit of filler episode, mostly because we wanted to make sure we can get scheduling conflicts worked out. We want to make sure we can get everybody in for the very important geopolitics story moments.
I'll be in Canada next week.
Yeah.
This is literally my only break of June. The only time I'm showing up in June.
So last week we were in a dungeon. The week before we were the session before we were also in a dungeon. But what happened before was we had gone to the bar that is owned by Ra, Commander Ra, who
Cheers.
who owns Cheers, which is a very, very super duper high scale, awesome swag money bar where there's all sorts of luxury or all sorts of not, depending on your flavor of partying. And while we were there, we did some. Reginald did some signings for some fans that wanted autographs since he had just won the fight, and that's when we kind of like settled in. We were like chatting with people. Commander Raw came over, and we chatted with him.
I showed up.
You showed up.
You did. In a rather amazing way, I might
Yes.
add.
Yeah, thank you.
He brought drinks over, and we were like, "Hey, you seem trustworthy. You should join us." And it was perfect. It was
You
great.
won me money. I consider him my best friend. We
Of
just
course.
stopped in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rightfully.
Tap in. So the main thing that happened in the tavern was we were finding out a lot about kind of more current event news that was going on, more rumors of what was going on in the world. We heard that dragons were attacking the Imperial fleet randomly throughout the sea that's underneath the Ibex Wrath, that the Lord seems to be very much alive somewhere, and his court is definitely in the city, and that we had officially arranged a meeting with Nathanial, Commander Nathanial, which is he's very high up in the echelon of the Lord's court. And in addition to that, we had thought that Commander Nathaniel was dead a long time ago, way back when.
Yes. When did you guys think he was dead? Because actually, there's two characters were around for that so far in this party, which would be you two.
That
Yeah, it was when we
was...
escaped Pike.
Yep.
Yep.
So that would have been about a little over a week ago at this
Correct.
point. A little over a week ago.
We can have him?
Maybe?
No. So Reginald did some wooing and stuff of somebody else's wife. Long story short, we're like, okay, shit's getting intense. We're probably about to get into some major geopolitic kind of stuff. Major, big picture, what the fuck conflict is going on between the Lord's court and the Lord's army and the Imperials. And we had basically set to have the meeting the following day. Some Thieves Guild members were looking for me, Arthur, to know my name or to kill me, question mark? Still not exactly sure what they wanted, but, if they had assassins, poisons, and blades and bows all trained on Reginald and everything, then, that's a pretty solid possibility. So we have enemies, or rather, Arthur has enemies, I guess. And then the following day, we were like, okay, today's the big day. We're going to meet Commander Nathaniel. There's nothing crazy going on. And then that's when they caught me up on, the assassins, Thieves Guild assassins. I'm like, oh, that's not great. And then we were like, oh, this might not be going as well as we thought. What are we actually going to... Why do we need to meet with Why are we meeting with Nathaniel anyway? What are we going to say? We're just... Are we in trouble? Are we going to get ourselves in trouble by doing this? And so we kind of had, a little bit of second thought, And since we didn't have everybody there, that's when we decided to do Pocket Dungeon. That was from a magical item that we had just received the same day.
Yes, the key of gatekeeping.
Yes. And then that...
Key of the gatekeeper.
That dungeon was wild. Everybody almost died. Everybody almost died like several times. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first episode. Second episode, people almost died again.
Yeah. Yes. Several times.
Mini boss, we almost died too.
Yes.
Third episode. That was the third episode.
It's the third episode. Right?
No. First episode, everybody got exhaustion.
Well, we didn't die though. Nobody knocked the first time.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, exhaustion is kind of taking closer to death. So
I had 2 levels of it on top of that, by the way.
You did.
That plays a the death rolls.
You really want to go to a new character?
Look, no. I'm just like, if I'm in combat...
I want realism. If that means I go to one of my backup characters that I have over here on the sidewall, look at how pretty they are, by the way.
characters. I can just grab one of those by blank. No, but I mean, like, my character knocks. I feel like if it's down, it's gotta be death roll it. Like, if I survive, I survive.
I did roll, and they saw it. So there we go. There we go.
That's all very legit.
So, anyways, so what you were saying though is many people had almost died that entire time. So, kind of what happened in the dungeon?
Yeah. So, without getting too into the details, we ended up in the realm of one of the demigods, one of the evil demigods, whose name I have forgotten.
The night.
I don't remember. I'm gonna rough.
I should know this.
I think I wrote it down.
I'm bad about it.
It's on all of your magic items too. It's a Dark Wraith.
Oh, Dark Wraith. Yes. So, turns out demigod was definitely, the son or creation of one of the other main gods, and we were like, oh shit, wait. This could be scary. This could be really bad.
If I die, I'd lose my buddy.
Okay.
Just gonna throw that one out there. Just saying.
I mean, if you're unconscious, I can loot you either way.
I'm just.
Hey, where's your stuff?
I was gonna give you a.
There's nothing on your body.
Because remember, you wanted hand axe. I wanted a hand axe +2. So you weren't there for that. So I found, when we killed the mini boss, he had a little armory room, and he had 3 shiny weapons on the wall, and I took 2 of them. So great sword +1 and a hand axe +2. I also found a short sword +2 laying around. So I have 3 extra weapons from
Don't worry, we got even
And then
more.
You guys found magic items that I'm like,
cool
ooh.
Cool shit.
I don't know what you got.
Shit.
Not for you though. Yeah, so it was a very tough fight. We're fighting a demigod of shadow. He was coming out of the wall. We had to keep lighting lights, and radiant light was very helpful. It was very much like the Shadow Curse lands in Baldur's Gate, where if you had some sort of light, then it would diminish the shades that were around, and you could attack them easier.
It was by far the clutchest clutch that you could imagine.
That was, I think...
This man rolled a nat 20 on life that night.
Facts. There are multiple times, as a DM, there are multiple times in that fight where I'm like, they might die.
Yeah.
I wonder if Arthur has more spell slots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, he has one more left. Oh, he has another one. Well, I mean, he's got to be out now. Oh, okay, there we are. Okay, all right.
It was a war of attrition, and we barely won. LOL. Yeah, so we basically defeated the demigod, and we were like, wow, that was crazy. Holy shit, what the fuck? We should really recollect ourselves before we go out of this dungeon and go back to the real world, where we have to immediately go to a meeting. That's very important. And, yeah.
Reginald punched a door.
Yes. Wait, what did he punch?
A door. He found the loot room.
Oh, yeah.
Rolled strength on the door and fractured his hand.
Like pure steel doors.
Yeah, pure steel door.
He was almost gonna have it. But then we had to leave because the dungeon was closing. We were being enveloped.
We lost our friend. The narrator.
Yeah, the narrator.
Yeah, you guys did lose narrator. So the narrator, for those of you who didn't know, the narrator is basically a curse. So whenever they end up entering any of these pocket dungeons that they end up entering all have some kind of unique curse. This particular one that they rolled was the narrator, which they might be able to get narrator again.
I hope so.
That'd be like
I
a
hope he
narrator.
remembers this. I hope it's the same narrator.
Well, I guess we'll see.
we might.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. You'll have to turn the key again and see what
Turn the
happens.
key again?
I told
on,
him on the
guys.
stream, I said, I'm just going to get out and just turn the key again. 1 HP.
Send me back.
I want to die.
Yeah.
I don't like living anymore.
I mean, I am like blue and I am depressed and just
Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da.
But yeah, so then you guys end up getting kicked out of the portal. You got those cool magic items that you end up inspecting, which we'll go over that here in a second, but we'll go ahead and resume there for you guys. So as the party ends up finishing off a little bit of a conversation that they were having amongst themselves, that they're inspecting these items inside of this dungeon that was created, the narrator was speaking, talking about how he was wishing that this would be able to persist, and he was actually a little fearful of what happens when the dungeon finally ends and the story comes to a close and your story carries on for him, and he wasn't sure what would happen, and immediately the entire portal sucks you and everything else out of it in an instant. And the narrator's voice immediately cuts. You immediately end up feeling a cool sensation as your body gets thrown out into the kitchen, slams up against a bunch of pots and pans as people are staring at you and looking in disarray. As all of you are lying there on the ground, you end up seeing that one person ended up also flying out through here, and you recognize this person to actually be a blue Eldrin elf that just kind of flops on the floor and just continues to lie there.
Can I walk over and just like nudge him? Just like with my foot, just like kick him a little bit.
Yep. And as you nudge him, I want you to make a medicine check.
To stabilize.
Huh? Let's see. Oh, I forgot that.
16.
Okay. You end up kind of realizing that where has he been? He's been lying in the corner this entire time. Is he alive? You gotta give him a kick, and you give him another kick. You can kick him again.
Ah, damn. What'd you roll?
You rolled very well.
It's a 19
You rolled
10,
very well.
19
No
10 to
fails.
15.
No fails. Once again.
0 failures.
What is like under 10?
Yeah. Well, yeah, under 10. Yeah. So. Oh no! You have to
I
survive.
had a way out. I guess I can close these
You
tabs.
literally had the devil.
Like, I was getting ready just in case. I was like, shit, I don't know.
Just gonna roll a dice to figure out which one.
Oh, no, I already,
Yeah.
I already know which one I was playing.
So, but you're gonna realize that Cassian is lying there on the ground and is barely kind of holding it together, and it looks like he is just kind of passed out and just barely aware.
Now, to be fair,
Fairly well.
like, a couple of these characters have died.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not coming back, but I've kept them for resource purposes.
Does that blue guy sleep this much normally? Is that just part of the
No, you
blue
should,
thing?
you should actually be very happy that he's quiet.
Hi there. What is it y'all doing inside of here? This is our kitchen. You made this portal pop up, and now you're popping out and making a mess. What's all this about? You're gonna watch this. Like, looks like one of the sous chefs is walking over to you. Why don't you go get the head chef about this? You shouldn't be doing what? Explain yourself.
I'm gonna pick up some of the.
I'm getting the gods.
Sorry, and try and like jump and put him back up on the.
Okay. Roll performance really quick.
Am I still knocked out?
You're still knocked out.
Okay.
Net one and a -1. That's a 0.
And as you start kind of jumping up, you realize you're kind of like struggling to get this thing up there, and eventually you jump just high enough to be able to actually put the pan up, and you grab on top of the shelf and pull the entire shelf down with you. As all the pans begin crashing all around you. One of them's actually going to bop you straight in the head and go, oh.
Fuck. I was trying to help. Sorry. We'll
We were just leaving, actually.
leave, and I just pick him up and put him on my shoulder, and
I'm like 6 times your size.
you're not 6 times my strength.
He's like an ant, you know, he can lift like 20 times.
Wear around my neck like a handkerchief.
No, you ain't going anywhere. We gotta sort this out. We're calling the guards over there. Hey, where are you going? Stop! I said I'm calling the guards.
Good day!
And he just seems like just going to be kind of sitting there as the three of you end up walking out, basically. And I'm saying three of you because he's knocked out, which would be Reginald too. Just end up walking straight out of the kitchen, leaving the mess. And the three of you end up basically just walking straight out of the casino at that point. Trying not to make eye contact with anyone, avoiding anything else that might be happening.
Fast walking.
And just going straight out the door.
While we're all bloodied and, different bruises and colors all over our skin.
100%. You end up walking straight out of that casino, though, and start walking in the main road. Finally feeling the warmth of the sunlight for the first time in what feels like hours.
Just to be clear, I don't want to just suddenly turn the key. Whatever that one does when he wakes up, I don't want him to stop trying the key.
Roll perception for me really quick.
7.
Okay.
As you were.
As I was. Yes, we should actually make sure that he doesn't have the key on him anymore. You put it down just for, or like in the street. You should probably... You set him down.
Okay. Then we just kind of like dunk.
Okay. And as that happens, you're going to end up seeing that his body just goes flop on the ground. As it flops, you're going to end up seeing what is the key in his hand just kind of bounce off and kind of start falling into some of the cobblestones.
But there's no sewer grate randomly, right?
No sewer grate
That's very good. Very nice. I immediately retrieve the key.
Okay.
And in so doing, putting it in my bag, I also pull out one of my potions of healing, which is just normal potion. So, I think that's 2d4 plus 1? Plus 2? Whatever it is.
6 plus what?
Plus 2. There you go. You've been administered a healing potion.
And as you end up coming to, you're going to just see what is just bright white light as you're flooding your eyes, trying to take all in this information. Then eventually you end up seeing what is a large, furry beast. Oh no, it's a beard. Oh, it's him. And you realize it's your dwarven friend standing over top of you.
Well,
Welcome back, Cassian.
I guess we didn't die.
No, we didn't. Sorry that you're disappointed by that. Sorry, just disappointed in general. Maybe that would have helped you, perhaps, in your mood.
Did we kill the boss? No?
Well, yes, we did. We slew a demigod while you were casually yes, indeed. We're all worse for wear now, and we're also late for our very important meeting.
It's only been 6 seconds. We're not late.
Well, it took at least 15 to get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, we might not be welcome back there anymore.
And we're going to probably have to answer some questions once we return, considering we're staying at that casino. Well, it's great. It's lovely. I'm sure Cynthia can sort the tab or something like that. We'll think about it later. Speaking of Cynthia, she's probably worried sick that we're not there yet, so we need to get going. So, up to it.
Alright, I just get up and just start.
Okay. Alright, so
Arthur.
Alright, so as the three of you end up walking off in this direction, Reginald's just going to kind of be tailing and not really saying much. It seems like he's really just pondering everything that's happening and trying to absorb all of what would be happening around him, just really trying to be very perceptive and understanding. And he would have actually mentioned that to any of you if you were trying to speak to him, that he really is just trying to listen as intently as he can during this conversation to try to pick up on anything that might be happening. Okay. So as a lot of you end up walking through the town, you end up seeing that it's beginning to pick up a lot more. There's more people doing things, but it seems like the guards are also a lot more active. I want all of you to actually roll a perception for me.
Nope. Why not? Oh, no.
15.
I still have exhaustion.
Yeah, don't forget that you would have your exhaustions and everything.
22.
22?
15.
Okay. As you're walking through the town, you are going to end up noticing one thing.
Wait, is it
Both of you. You're going to end up noticing that the guards are actually wearing a lot more armor and additional gear than they normally would be wearing. It seems like instead of just having a singular sword to the side, it looks like they're actually wearing some additional armor with some additional weapons. It's not a big deal, but you definitely notice it. Some of them are even walking around with crossbows on their back.
Is it just me? Or
They seem like they're gearing up for something.
Armed to the teeth. Well, there is a lot more people and there is a war about outside. And considering we're about to meet somebody from the Lord's Court out in the open, or at least be escorted somewhere safe, I don't know. There could be several reasons. But I think some of it might have to do with wartime activities.
I mean, but the war was here yesterday.
Yes, but it might be even closer now. Perhaps we've missed news overnight of something going on. Do we hear any? Do we hear anything out in the crowd? Just people murmuring about something, or?
Sure. Go ahead. And both of you can go ahead and roll perception again for me.
That's not going to do
15
it.
again?
9.
Okay. 15, you are going to end up hearing what is a couple of murmurs coming from different points in the crowd. And it seems like these murmurs are going to be very, very difficult to pick up on, but you're able to pick out some of the words that they're saying. You end up hearing that there's even more refugees here, and they're beginning to turn people away. And it seems like there's a bit of an uproar outside of people being turned away. One thing that you end up hearing specifically, though, is a lot of fighting going on in the Blighted District. And people trying to sneak in.
Well, refugees are quite abundant, and from what we learned from Reginald, there was going to be some sort of turf war out there or something. Unfortunately, I was supposed to have contact with one of the members of the
Blighted Lords.
of the Blighted Lords and get myself a nice handy weapon to replace my wand, but that didn't end up panning out.
Contact died.
Don't know where the contact is, so regardless.
I meant Scorn. Scorn was the contact, right?
No,
Was Cassie the contact?
no, it was Scorn, but through the
Scorn knew Crank.
Yes, Crank.
Yeah, Crank was a contact, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
contact to get to Crank is now dead, so he wouldn't even know who you are.
Yes, there are at least one contact that's dead, at least.
We thought Nathanial told us dead, so who knows?
Yes,
Oh, no, Scorn is dead. I'd probably see that.
we have. Well, hopefully. It looks like the gods have everything under control, and we wouldn't want any overflow coming in through the gates, and anything like that. Either way, I think we'll be fine. We don't have anything to worry about. Just this, conversation where we might be imprisoned for any sort of reason, I don't know. But, I don't believe that'll happen. But that's also me just kind of trying to forget any sort of consequence to what we're
It'll
doing.
be fine. And
Yeah.
I tried to tap him on what my hand would probably be his ass. It'll be fine. And I just smack him.
Yes, we'll be fine. Onward then.
So as a lot of you end up walking all the way up, you're going to end up seeing what is standing over next to the fountain in the middle of the square. You're actually going to find Cynthia. Looks like she's standing there kind of trying to wave you guys down. Arthur? Yes?
Yes,
Yes. Great.
we're here, finally. So sorry we took a bit of a detour.
I was starting to get worried when it was about 20 minutes after and you hadn't shown up yet. What happened to you in 20 minutes? You're
Well,
bruised and beaten. What's...
I think Cassian has an answer.
Well, I mean, we went into we used the key. Does she know?
Did you open the door?
We opened. Yeah, we went through a door and fought a boss. Went through a dungeon.
He's playing it down. We fought a demigod.
That makes even less sense.
That's the point. It doesn't make sense to us either.
Well, you see this key that
You lost the key.
maybe it's
Was it only consumed by one use? Was that anywhere? Did we get any of that in the notes from? Oh, what was
No,
his name?
he said we could use it as many times as needed.
Interesting. I'll have to revisit this. Well,
Another thing
that's
we said
another
about-
discussion for another day.
I suppose. So anyways, we have a little bit of a walk. I ended up setting it up where we're actually going to be meeting with him in what would be the Scale Legionnaire's quarters in the Noble District.
Is that where we went that one time?
No,
Okay.
no, that was
Where we took all the potions off the wall and just...
no. That's a different place. It's a different place.
Okay.
I miss him.
So if you just follow me really quick, does your friend here have a diamond pass or a double pass?
Yes, no, he's quite clear.
And I pulled up the diamond pass.
Oh, good for you on having the papers. That is
Pat him on the head.
very surprising for someone of your stature and class.
Now,
status.
Cynthia, Beldar's very, very helpful member of the party now.
I'm not trying to be rude. It's just you're very.
He made a lot of money off of
Short.
Reginald's fight and was able to afford better lodging.
You're lucky I can't go big right now.
I remember you. That's right.
Yes.
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 I couldn't tell with the blood and everything all over your face.
Yeah, it was fun.
Fun.
Yeah, that demigod did a number on me. But
How'd you find here? Walk. We'll talk, and she'll kind of guide you as she starts walking.
Is there a carriage? How long will it take to get there?
It'll probably only take about 5 minutes, 7 minutes. For walking at a brisk pace, it won't take too long. Once we get past the gate, that is.
What is brisk pace? Don't want to saunter
My
about.
brisk pace or his brisk pace?
I would
My brisk pace.
Yes, I would recommend one of our brisk pace, please.
He's fine. He can keep up just fine.
Yes, see, he's practically jogging.
worst comes to worst, Arthur can carry me. We found that one out.
Didn't work great, but we did do it.
So, anyways, what have you been up to recently since then, Beldar? Your name was Beldar, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yes. What have you been up to?
It's been kind of, well,
How'd you find your way to the city?
it's been a shit.
I never thought I'd see you again. When I left and everyone was gone in all the disarray,
After we went through everything, what I thought was Nathaniel dying, I found my way into the city. I was kind of wandering around. I had spent most of my money to get in, and I found a fighting ring.
Oh, yeah.
I bet just about everything I had left on this druid, and turned out to be Reginald the Undying.
That is something.
He won me a hell of a lot of gold. I wanted to thank him. I showed up, offered him drinks. Well, I bought the diamond pass with some of the gold and everything that I've won. Showed up, wanted to give him some drinks, and kind of just stuck around.
Oh, that's just. Oh, sorry. Here, go on. My nobility pass. Everyone, your passes, please. Passes, please.
What do you consider a lot of gold?
Here we go. Here's all of our passes. We actually have an appointment with people at the Scale Legionnaire's office. If you could send word to them, let them know we'll be walking.
There's 5 diamond pass.
Oh, interesting.
All right then. There you go. Arthur. Cassian.
Yeah.
Beldar. I'll send word letting them know you've arrived and you're on your way. Thank you very much. Now, you'll watch as they end up pushing this giant gate open, the Noble District opens. You see the glistening gold begin kind of pushing the light in towards your eyes as you begin walking down the cobblestones towards the Scale Legionnaire's primary base. So sorry, Beldon. What were you saying?
No,
He made you a lot of gold. That was quite something.
yeah, and I won a lot of gold. Started sharing some drinks. One thing led to another. I got caught up in some chaos, and here we are. These guys seem alright. And I just kind of tapped them both on the ass, tried to tap them on the shoulder.
That's great. That's yeah. I'm really happy to see you. I wasn't sure if we'd run into somebody else who survived all of the affairs that we've undergone.
Yeah,
I thought it was just going to be myself and Arthur at this point because you saw the others. The others have either deceased or have gone their own separate ways. Unfortunately,
everyone.
everyone. We haven't seen anyone else survive. Do you remember that little goblin fellow that was with us?
Vague.
No.
Yeah, there was a tiny goblin fellow that was with us. What was his name? Is it
It was Dino.
Dino? Yes, the little goblin Dino. Yes, he died apparently in some kind of a issue in the field of battle.
Very freak accident. We'll cut it up to that. It was very tragic. There was disagreement, and one of the people in disagreement might have been possessed by some sort of otherworldly being. Anyway. Yes. Dino no longer.
Were you that person?
Nope, not me.
Okay.
I wasn't even there, and I was very sad about that because I might have been able to prevent it. Dino was a good fellow. Might have been a bit smelly and bloodthirsty.
Were you not there for that?
That was when I was gone one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Ned killed Dino.
I like these guys so far, so I'll do my best to keep them up, even though they're keeping me up just as much.
Absolutely. That's a very bright way of looking at it there, Beldar. Very bright. So we're getting here right now, so follow me inside. We'll go ahead and do the formal introductions, and I'll leave you to it. I don't mean to intrude on your conversation with him. I think me being in the room might actually add to more issues than anything, right?
Are you certain?
I think that to be the case. I think.
Okay.
Do you, unless you would advise otherwise.
Why would it add to issues?
Didn't you set the meeting with him?
Of course I did, but I know it seems that Reginald's not very talkative at the moment. But I do worry that potentially my presence there might create issues. Are we worried about that by chance? Is there worry about issues?
Cynthia, are you uncomfortable with... That's fine.
But if there's no worries about issues, then I suppose that's fine. But are there worries about issues?
Well, we are just worried in general. Not sure exactly what to expect, even though we did arrange this. But I don't think it would cause any issue for you to be there. If you're not comfortable being there, I don't want you to feel like you have to. If all you want to do is introductions and leave it at that, then...
Let me ask this. How well do you know Nathaniel?
Well, he was an active member of the Lord's Court, so
Right.
quite so well. I was one of the servants there.
But how well do you know him? How much time have you spent around him?
Spent a pretty good amount of time around him, yes, over the years.
Then why might you think there's issues?
More so because Reginald jumped at me before, and I
Basically interrogated her.
I would hate for anything other than this conversation to be less than authentic. Potentially, if I was in the ring was what something.
It's very fair.
But if you do truly believe that it's not be an issue at all, then I of course will stay. I have no issue with that. I just want to ensure everyone feels good.
I don't know. What do you think Reginald would actually say?
I'm actually not sure.
Do you want me to call him and find out?
Better, yeah, let's just go pick him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just all right, guys. We're gonna all hop in the car. We're gonna drive on over there.
Let's stay alive, though.
We're staying live. We're staying live. But if you believe it to be okay, I'll stay.
Absolutely. I don't see a reason why not.
Okay, I'll stay then.
Considering you're our go-between.
Yes, I'll stay then. Okay, well, after me, please. And you watch as she walks over there and starts talking to one of the guards at the front of the gate. Yes, I have a meeting with a special executive member that we are supposed to be meeting in what would be the Green Dragon's room. The Green Dragon's room. Yes, the Green Dragon's room. Oh, I understand. Yes, thank you very much. So we're about to... Thank you so much. Come everyone, come. You watch as you end up walking inside, and immediately the doors are going to get open for you as you end up seeing what is an entire main foyer that almost looks like it's designed as a tavern. But all of the booths and everything that are kind of etched into this place look like they're not actually booths. Look like they've actually been retrofitted to be little like kind of armory quarters. And one area has armor set up, one area has swords, one area ends up having bows, and one has ammunition. Then you see all these tables going across the entirety of the mill. They're just strapped down with all kinds of food and beverages. And as you end up walking a little bit deeper, you end up seeing off to your right what looks like an entire area, which is the prison quarters, and a hallway that's walking straight into the back. And as you end up walking down this hallway straight towards the back, you're going to end up seeing what is a door at the very end that's actually plated that looks like with dragon scales. and it has a plaque on it that you could hardly read, but it glimmers with the gold. Then, as you're walking towards that door, you're going to get to a point in the hallway where it kind of goes off to the left, and you're going to watch as Cynthia takes that left, and you end up seeing there's a series of different types of doors. Looks like they're separated pretty far, but you end up watching as she walks over to the farthest door on the left side, and ends up knocking on the door 2 times. Meeting with the Green Dragons? The Green Dragons. Green Dragons! And you end up hearing with his footsteps walking towards the door. You hear as the handle begins to move, the door opens, and you're face to face with a person wearing full plated armor that has a very handsome looking face. Looks like this person has blonde hair sweeping back. And in a stoic expression, looks at you and says, "Hello."
Good day. Are you Commander Nathanial?
"Yes. Come on in. I've heard you wanted to speak to me for some time."
Would I recognize this guy as what the other Nathaniel looks like?
Roll history. And then you'll watch as Nathaniel kind of turns around and starts walking into this room. As you walk into this room, you're going to end up seeing what is a giant wooden table going all the way across. As you look in the walls of this room, you're going to end up seeing what is just multiple different heads of dragons. Some baby dragons, some small dragons, some that don't even have the actual mount of it, just the horns going through. It looks like this entire thing is just drawn up in some kind of a dragony pattern. Looks like all the dragons in this room are of different colors, but not green dragons for some reason. And as you look in the center of the room, you're going to see with a chandelier that looks like it's magically illuminated, but instead of it being done with anything like normal wood or antlers, no, it's all dragon horns holding together what looks like these glowing orbs of light.
Well, a 23 on that history check.
Okay? He looks nothing like the person you talked to before.
Alright.
Nothing like him.
Did we pass any potions as we were walking through? Like, it's like we passed all these.
Nothing you would have seen when you were walking through. If you're passive, you wouldn't have seen it.
That's fine. Feel about my perceptions, anyways.
Well, we definitely go in the room.
Is that even with a 16 passive?
No, that was a 16 passive.
Scott can help. We just need a 10-minute break. If you want to take a nap in the corner, we can.
Sick. You're going to watch as Nathaniel ends up getting to what looks like the head of this table, and he kind of gets up to the top of the table and begins to kind of pull the chair out. And I want to roll insight really quick.
19.
What? Poopy. 9.
13.
19.
9, 13, 19. So you're going to be the only one who notices this. But what you are going to notice is what looks like Nathaniel ends up walking over to this chair and then pulls it all the way out and then just kind of stands there awkwardly for like a couple of milliseconds. And then it looks like you kind of notice like a minor expression on the face where you just kind of look surprised and then immediately goes to kind of pull the chair back in a little bit and then goes to move and sit down and pull the chair in.
I'll go and sit down at the table.
So, I'm glad that we could finally be doing this. Cynthia has told me quite a bit has happened since the entire holdout city of Pike was indisposed. Now, care for some wine? You'll watch as he just kind of leans over and there's a couple of wine glasses sitting there in the middle of the table. Watch as he pours and puts it a little bit off next to you and then kind of says, "You pass it around to the rest, please."
Does he pour himself some?
He did pour himself some.
Okay. Then, yeah.
I
So-
fill mine to the brim and then I pass it.
I hope you like dry wines. This is definitely one of the dry ones that we have.
Well,
Gonna fill my thing.
You dry a red.
Do you want this or should I keep it all?
Of course, I'll take it.
Okay. Just making sure.
Can I get another drink, by the way? Thank you, sir.
do you have a blueberry left? One of the
I had one. It's
They're good,
A
right?
little too sour for me.
That's the
Anybody
big
wants
one.
the rest?
Level 3.
Yeah.
Bro, they're so
Do you
good.
want these? I only have one. It's just a little much for me.
Those
Okay.
blueberries?
Or the strawberry.
Oh, strawberries are good.
Strawberries are good.
Do you want to try a level 3 blueberries?
I think he's fine.
I'm okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I will take one.
That's good, like the little eye twitch gum.
Yeah, that's
It's good though, right?
Yeah.
I might maybe
The
like,
strawberry is better.
yeah. I like the blueberry though. The blueberry ones are like because they're tiny. You can just kind of like really enjoy them.
Which one you want? Blueberry or strawberry?
I'll take a strawberry. I mean, that's strawberry as well. So, what is it you'd like to know?
Well, how should we address you? How do you prefer to be called?
Commander Nathanial is fine.
It's a bit of a mouthful. Can we just stick with Nathaniel or Commander or something?
Commander's fine. Nathaniel, you just call me whatever you'd like.
Ah,
You can skip the formalities.
very good. Well,
For as much time as you spent with Cynthia, she is a very, very dedicated and noble person.
she
An excellent servant to the Lord's court.
yes, she has done us very well and has kept us afloat, especially while we've been adventuring out and about, discovering different things, hearing different news. That's more or less what we've come to talk about. First of all, I'm Arthur, Nightshade. I also come from Pike.
Sorry. We should do our formal introductions. Commander Nathaniel. Arthur Nightshade.
Cassian.
Do you have a last name, Cassian?
No.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Eldar Mountain Axe.
Mountain Axe. Very
I don't
good.
know if I do have a last name.
Mountain Axe. That name sounds familiar. Are you from the north or from the south?
I'm from the Cliffs of Doom.
South.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. I haven't met a whole lot of dwarves in my day.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I have a kind of pointless question. Why is this a green dragon room and there's no green dragons? Just kind of looking around.
Oh, it is rather peculiar. You watch as Cynthia just kind of jumps in. The Green Dragon Room is actually not what this room is called. It's just letting them know that we're trying to speak to somebody in a very secretive manner. It's more code between the gods when we're trying to have a private conversation between members of the Lord's Court. This is common terminology.
Okay. Is there any other terminology we should know? Or I should know? Because I'm kind of clueless here.
I think that terminology would suffice for right now. But
Okay.
if anything else becomes pertinent, please feel free to ask. I don't want you to feel like you're lost.
That's kind of hard.
Well, that's understandable. Anyways, sorry, Nathaniel, did not mean to interrupt. No, you're quite all right there, Cynthia. So, now that we have the formal introductions out of the way, Cynthia has told me that it was urgent that you speak with me. I spoke to her quite a few times since, and there was reason for us to speak.
Yes, indeed. There's much going on in the world, especially around here, that we have a lot of information about and would also maybe like to get clarification about, or...
Can you pause for a second? I'm trying to remember what. Like, it's been so long since we've actually talked. Like, what do we actually?
So we wanted to meet with Nathaniel because we were confused as to why there
He was
is
not
Nathaniel.
dead.
Yeah, we thought...
That's the premise. I understand that part, but there's more. And we interrogated Cynthia. What did we like?
Well, didn't Reginald...
Reginald was a big driver. Of
Well, I was part of that too.
Yeah. But it was more or less about, like, okay, well, why is the Lord's Court here? There's, like, a lot of, like, shady shit going on. Like, a lot of, like, very secretive stuff. And so it's more or less trying to find out, like, what the fuck's happening.
So, like the dragons. Plus, didn't Reginald have notes on something?
Reginald, I mean, we had a bunch of stuff.
I'm just trying to remember what you told. I'm just trying to figure out how
Yeah.
I can like interject in the
Yeah.
conversation without fucking the conversation. Honestly.
Just don't walk into a room where everyone's saying, please don't walk into
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But it's more of like, you guys gave me the rundown of Nathaniel. Like, it wasn't like we just randomly talked and I was like, no idea. You guys gave me the rundown, but like, didn't we interrogate him? And we killed him? Wasn't that the person we did? Like, not me.
The Imperials came, and they were looking for members of the Lord's Court while we were escaping Pike, and we were staying in Margaret's old house.
Yeah.
And we essentially used somebody who didn't turn out to be Nathaniel, after all, as some sort of scapegoat. And we're like, oh yeah, hey yeah, we murdered Nathaniel for you. Here you go, Imperials. Here's a member of the Lord's Court. We took care of that. He died.
Okay.
And then we dipped.
So then why do you think Nathaniel's dead?
Because that was Nathaniel, the dead person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nathaniel.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
I guess I really only have one question because I'm fairly new to all of this.
Sure.
I thought you were dead.
Why would you think that?
I met someone who said they were Nathaniel. Imperials killed him. They took his body before I ever got here or any of this. I just didn't think you were around.
I feel like I'm missing some much needed context.
I don't really have much. I was a refugee at the time. No one told me shit.
Yes.
Were we supposed to have met before?
I thought so, but I guess not. Cynthia knows. She was there.
Yes, I was there. Yes. For
Well, to put it plainly, while we were escaping Pike, the Imperials were very thorough of their search of any sort of escapees, refugees, whatever you may call them. One of the people in the group of refugees posed as a Commander Nathaniel. And when the Imperials came knocking, and were very insistent on trying to find members of the Lord's Court and such, this one was offered up as something to hopefully satiate their desires, so that we were able to get away. But I believe all of it was just a ploy. Wasn't the obviously you're not dead because you're right here, but that's more or less why. I think it's safe to say at this point that's what it was for.
that is quite peculiar. I'm very much alive.
You had nothing to do with that?
I was never part of any kind of a leaving of the city. I could tell you how I ended up leaving the city, but I never left with a group. Not a group of members that were not members of the Lord's Court.
No, I didn't. It is very clear that we did not travel with you, of course.
No. As part of the evacuation of the city, the Lord's Court ended up going partially separate. Certain members of the Lord's Court went on their own path, and the vast majority of us stayed back, gathered the resources we could, and were smuggled out the city through a different means.
Interesting. Well, we all made it out of Pike. Well, at least Belva and I and Cynthia. I suppose the questions that we had and the answers we're seeking, and possibly the answers for you, perhaps, if any way we can help. I'm personally not a fan of the Empire. They've been quite ruthless in their search, and destroying cities and towns is not a way of stamping out any sort of whatever. I don't even know what the true cause is.
Cynthia's been quite... She's taken quite a liking to you, and for that reason, it would be safe to assume the rest of you feel the same sentiments as well?
I could care less about either side.
Indifference does sway for our side. That's fine. What about you there?
I'm still trying to understand this whole thing. Close to Doom, we're kind of left out of everything, so I don't know what to feel yet. I'm still trying to understand.
But from what Arthur was saying, you were in the city when the city was eventually overrun by the Imperials. Correct.
and I don't like the way that things were done, but I don't know why or what or how. I guess I don't like the Imperials, but I don't know what the hell is going on.
And that's fair to say, but I would say it is cause for even more concern. You see, if the Imperials are going about and destroying cities, that's you're even staying in for brief periods. If anything, I think it shows of what the Empire's destructive nature truly is. The free folks in the free land just want to stay living, want to stay free. Free from the aristocrats, free from the politics of the rest of the world. We want to be allowed to live the lives that we choose to live. And they've done nothing but destroy that. Displacing you. Everyone here. Well, you might not have made a choice as to who you align with. I understand that, and I respect that, truly. But I ask that you consider you are in a place that you would call a home, even for a temporary time. And there are people coming to displace you from your home. Now, if you were staying at a tavern and somebody threw you out of your room, you'd be upset. If you were staying in a city and they removed you from the city forcefully, you'd be upset. And if you were forced on the run between different taverns, I'm sure you'd also be upset. You've never met any of these vile Imperials, have you? Any of those scum?
I've had run-ins, but nothing more than...
Run-ins?
Well, just...
And you survived to tell the tale.
Just with the pikes or in Pike with everything that went down, and when they killed who I thought was you, and nothing major. And everybody that was sent after, or everybody I've had passing knowledge with, seemed like they were on a mission. I understand when you're on a mission, there's not much that deviates you. No. You're right. I wouldn't like being thrown out of home or town, and I have been displaced. But I don't know what to think.
Roll history for me really quick, too.
Okay.
Can I roll insight to see if he's like bullshitting us?
You're gonna have to. Okay, so when you say bullshitting this, like, what are you kind of trying to go for?
So like he's trying to play. Obviously, he's like. The goal is this actually really Nathaniel? Sorry, we were trying to...
Okay, so that actually brings it even more. I need to be even more specific, because you feel like that's more specific, I feel like that's more broad.
Sure, well, I know, but the goal...
You know, I want to see if he's bullshitting. I want to see if he's this. It's like, okay,
I want to see
okay.
if he's heartfelt on the words he's actually saying. If he believes the words he's truly saying, or if it sounds like it's kind of...
Okay, alright, go, yeah, you can roll insight against that, yeah.
12.
Okay, so with your history, or yeah, with your history on that 12, you are going to end up kind of remembering that you did have another interaction too when you end up kind of being taken in, when you were kind of processed and everything and interviewed, and they kind of basically gave you some supplies, gave you food, and sent you on your way. It was a very kind interaction. It wasn't anything like, terrible or anything like that.
With the Imperials?
Yeah, with the Imperials. Even from the little bit of time you spent in the Imperial territory too, it's like, well, I mean, they were good people. The guards were nice. It's just, it's just your personal experience, but
right.
Let's do you really quick. So
Sure. 16.
16. You were trying to see if he's being sincere, right?
Correct.
So you could tell there's a lot of sincerity in what he's saying, but you are getting a little hint of what is almost like a politician, but that's kind of to be expected for somebody his stature.
Okay.
With the run-ins I've had with them, when they seem like they have a goal in hand, they seem unnerved, confident, and there's nothing that can break them. But the run-ins I've had that have no backing, no instance behind them, they've been nice. They fed me, they gave me supplies. I don't know. They seem determined. Like, very determined.
And I can
I
understand.
don't know if that's right or not. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure all this out.
And that's understandable. I get that.
Is he equal position to what I am trying to become? So, like, remember, I'm on a journey to try to become
Yeah.
his court. Or is
Okay, yeah, I see what you're asking. Roll history for, for the kind of hierarchy and everything. No, this is actually within this advantage anyways, because you're not from this
Roll
realm.
history with double exhaustion.
Doesn't matter.
Roll 7
14.
at 20s and roll.
Damn,
all of
okay.
them. Take them.
Yeah, so you're gonna end up recognizing that he's probably in a comparable role.
Okay. To what I'm aiming for,
Yeah.
not to what I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he is part of like that inner circle.
Okay.
Even the way he's speaking and everything, he's very much like a politician. He's very much in tune with what's going on and how to talk to people. And I understand that. There's no rush for you to make a decision, honestly. But how much do you know about our Lord, Lendar Colrose?
A little bit. I know a little bit of how he came to be. And my father told me tales of the plague walkers or the plagues and everything that came. But the cliffs of doom were really left out of all of this. I was in a cave most of my life. We traded little bits here and there. I heard stories, but I don't know a whole lot.
Well, allow me to enlighten you. Lord Lendar Coldrose is the great leader of our land. Even from a young age, he was a stoic one, going out and doing what needed to be done for the good of his people. Whether it be claiming the entirety of the holdout city of Pike and standing as a sigil against the tyranny of the Empire. He collects his taxes in a just way. He is fair and he is kind. He doesn't interfere with the affairs of others. He just wants people to work and live in harmony together in the way that they see fit. Does a man like that seem all that wrong? Is that really something that the Empire should come in here and try to destroy?
Go roll insight.
Yeah, go for it.
Isn't he the one who told
What are you
me
inciting
things?
specifically?
And that's how I became leader? Yeah, okay. And we know that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What are you rolling insight for exactly?
Truthfulness behind that statement.
Man, you guys are really making it difficult
Well,
for me.
like-
Okay, so you gotta give me a little more.
So he's trying to make the Lord seem like he's this wonderful person.
Sure.
Does he know of bad things the Lord has done? Or like
So you're trying to get his sincerity.
right.
His sincerity.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll insight on it.
14.
It looks like he's being pretty sincere about everything he's saying. It looks like he actually kind of believes what he's saying.
So this may have no correlation at all,
Sure.
but it might. And I've only heard this just in murmurs one time. Does the Lord have anything to do with the dragons attacking the Imperial ships?
I beg your pardon. What do you mean the Lord's... What?
I don't know. Dragons seem to be attacking Imperial ships, but not merchants. Or...
Does anyone other than the rougher man have a better way of explaining this to me? I'm not sure exactly what he's...
Surely you've heard some rumor that dragons from the Eye of Exrath have finally descended and
Yes.
are attacking Imperial ships in the sea.
I've seen it in some reports. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yes.
Are you asking if the Lord's responsible for this?
Does he have any connection to it? I'm not saying responsible, but it just seems odd that they're only attacking Imperials.
That does seem odd. I suppose it could be that the dragons have potentially seen that these invaders are coming in, and they have decided now is the time to strike. Perhaps it is simply just that they recognize that the imperial reign will bring an end to everything that they know and love. And for that reason, they feel a need to interfere.
Perhaps. It's interesting that they've come down after never doing so.
This is the first. Never seen them come out of the Eye of X-Rat before and aim to attack ships. But maybe it's because the circumstances have dictated. Even the dragons, not just our nobility, not just the commoners, the dragons themselves in the Eye of X-Rat have come to recognize the good of our world. Everyone roll history really quick.
Gosh. Yeah.
Jump.
13.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
I think mine's a no.
I have a +4. I have a +4 and I rolled a 6.
What am I?
I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 19 on my other one. But I rolled a 1.
The good of our world and of our cause.
I'm just over here drinking.
Well, we wouldn't consider it outside the realm of responsibility. Or maybe it is just rumor, because there are... we did see the missive that the Lord sent out, not only a couple days ago, about paying privateers for...
The privateer program, yes.
So maybe people are just over-exaggerating
You see,
about that.
I know that our Lord is bright beyond anyone. It was a genius move on his part. A genius move.
I would say so as well. Especially if, from what I know, the Lord's army or forces don't have any standing navy. Only an army. Which, we've seen the Imperial army and heard of it, not too far from Shadowstone here. Are we expecting any sort of fight outside? Any sort of battle? Surely the Empire doesn't want to take the crown jewel of money and trade.
You said he's in full plate, right?
Yes.
Is this normal attire?
Roll history disadvantage.
It's
Well, I mean, it's already disadvantage.
already.
It's already disadvantage.
10?
10.
Who was that?
Okay. So, yeah.
Hold on.
You don't know.
I'm trying to jump in on the
I
conversation.
know you are.
Like the castle itself?
Yeah. What was it?
I don't want to be like, didn't your guy just pull and take many things?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I mean, you could still like interject with stuff like that.
I know, I'm like almost dead, so like,
Half dead.
I drink another potion, so I'm half health,
But you can still assume that this is probably like probably more of a cordial conversation. Yeah. I wouldn't feel like you feel threatened. So.
And I'm sorry that I didn't.
You're fine. What is it?
But I think I did a history check one of the last sessions where you told me I was going past Pike, and I noticed like a castle that had like a weird draw to it where we thought the Lord might have gotten his power or something like that.
Yes. So what you're referencing? Okay, I know what you're talking about. I'll give it to you. So it was. I think it was you because you've been traveling now for what, like 50 years or 60 years?
I don't think it's been that long. But
Double check your backstory really quick because I want to make sure if it was you or if it was somebody else who was telling you the story.
Okay.
Because first-hand account versus second-hand account will be different.
I want to say you heard from your dad or something.
I want to say that's the case too, but
no, I don't think you're that old.
but not his dad. I think it would have been from one of his merchant friends or something.
30 years.
Yeah. So then you probably
You've been traveling for 30 years?
Yeah. So I've gone through Flea Dock. I've gone through Pike.
It was Pike recent or was Pike old too?
Pike was 10 days ago.
Okay, so that was
15
recent.
days
Yeah, so
ago.
then this would have been from the merchant. This would have been from the merchant in your town.
Okay.
So Yeah, so
Right,
then,
that's what it was.
so secondhand account then. So yeah, he would have told you a story about how as he was traveling through the area, there was almost like a magical plume that seemed to have happened in the city of Pike, in the ruins of the city as it was overgrown and just kind of basically just void of any life. But he almost felt like there was like a calling coming from the castle when he was walking by. And it wasn't calling to him, but it was calling to something, to someone, who knows. But that was one of the stories he told you.
Well, we know the Lord had a fast rise to power. Genius as he may be, he does face quite the crises with the might of the Imperials in the Freelands.
He does, but I have no worry at all about his ability to get this issue resolved in a timely and swift manner. We will repel those invaders, and it will be through the leadership of our Lord, Lendar Colbers.
Do you have any food? We went through a rough road on the way in.
One moment, I'll go talk to one of the guards really quick. We normally don't bring food in for these meetings. We weren't expecting it to be all that long. He'll just give me a moment. He watches. He kind of pushes up the chair and stands up and begins walking out the door and opens it, closes it, and then begins walking off to go do.
How are we sitting at this table? Is he next to me?
It would be similar to this, yeah.
Did you notice the weird little hesitation he did before he sat down at the very beginning?
Speak a little louder, just for the mic.
Did you notice that weird little hesitation he did before he sat down at the very beginning?
Seemed dramatic, but he's also in a full plate armor, so maybe he needed the space.
Seemed like he pulled the chair out for someone else and then forgot it was for him. Or I don't know.
Well, perhaps. I don't know.
Why is he in full plate right now?
It's probably just his uniform. I mean, he is a commander after all. Commander of the Lord's army.
Yeah, but would you just walk around the city in full plate armor?
When you're trying to be killed by everyone, you might. Would you be upset if I asked him about your ring?
No, not at all. I don't know if he'll have any insight.
The whole Thieves Guild thing, they said it was part of the Lord's court.
Oh,
that's
that's a great thing we can bring up is the Thieves Guild in general.
I'm not trying to offend you. I know I've already attacked you on that quite a bit, and I'm sorry. But, just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd love to know more about your ring. Can I see that?
Yeah, you can see right here.
Okay.
Wait, there we go.
Oh. Okay.
So as you guys are kind of cackling like little girls, you're going to end up hearing as the door begins to swing back open. Terribly sorry about the wait. They're bringing some food in right now. One of the guards is. Oh, there you go. And you'll watch he just kind of starts walking back in toward his chair. And then you watch as they end up bringing out what looks like a platter on the table that has what is some eggs that looks like they've been scrambled. And then you also are going to see what are slices of bread that look like they actually have a little bowl of butter sitting right next to it.
Do we heal from food?
No,
It's like Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Can I have like 8 cheese wedges? To replenish my stamina.
I'll keep hammering this wine.
Oh no, that just goes down. You get exhaustion.
Help yourself. I will be quite alright, but
Are you always dressed like this? Full armor? Or is it just because something's about to happen?
This is my standard attire. I often am wearing my uniform, and though things are happening in the city and there is a war ongoing, I would feel remiss if I didn't still wear my armor instead. And I believe Wuhan the Bold has been quite generous given everything that we have done for him. He hasn't ratted us out to what would be the Imperials, though I know they have spoken. he takes a side of indifference on this matter. And though I walk around the city like this, he keeps me relatively hidden. And it just wouldn't feel right to be without it. Not in a time of war.
Do you know why the guards seem more cautious today? Or more prepared?
More armed to the teeth,
Yeah, right.
carrying more weapons and armaments. Oh,
So, while we in the Lord's Court, and I can't tell you where, unfortunately, but while we are in efforts of moving from our current location here, for the graces of Uham the Bold can only get us so far, we are moving and making efforts to relocate, and we have heard from some of the gods in our relocation that there is a ongoing issue with potential refugees sneaking into the city that could potentially be
Imperials. We ran into a couple.
yes, searching to do
We actually
ill
stopped one
things.
from attacking.
Did you really?
Yeah.
yes, quite right in the middle of the square. In fact, it was when
The giant colossal
yes,
gorilla. Right? Was it a gorilla?
it was a massive.
Everybody thought it was a gorilla, but it was a construct.
It was a massive illusion. But
Interesting.
somebody was doing. It was a. Couldn't tell if it was a imperial deserter or if it was an imperial agent. You know, there on purpose. But more or less, when the guards went to apprehend this person, he threw some sort of illusory smoke magic bomb on the ground, and there was a whole
He fought alongside
several different guards.
one of the generals, right?
No, I believe we just fought alongside the guards.
Dude. We definitely fought alongside one of the higher ranking. Not necessarily his rank.
You guys did fight against or fight with some guards inside of there. So some of the guards ended up getting like hit, and then they went inside the Soul Body Dimension as well.
Yes, there was all the local guards, the Scaled Legionnaires.
Oh,
Well-
yeah.
But I know, I'm sure there's whispers, and I'm sure there is, Imperial forces within the city, agents doing whatever. Truth be told, I would like to know how we can offer assistance. We've been around. We even went to the Underdark and had quite the run-in with the cult of Morgina, and that's how I came to this. And I show my whole tattooed arm.
By the gods, what?
One of our former comrades'
are you-
souls is within me.
Are you okay?
Well,
Do we need medical attention? For
no,
you?
I'm fine now. I mean, I might not be later. We just still don't know. Don't worry about me.
No. Are you going to be okay?
I'm fine.
You said later though. Are you okay?
Just don't know the repercussions of losing. Are you familiar with the? I can't remember the name of the ritual. I have the book.
Ritual of the day.
The ritual of the hoe. No, that what you think of the other one.
Ritual of home?
That was the. Oh god. The long title with lots of proper nouns in it. No, we conducted a ritual purely out of survival's sake, in order to save a comrade who ended up, unfortunately, still tragically perishing. This one was my host, and as such, as a chosen now of Thartos, I don't know what it means to be without a host. But I have newfound power that has been very beneficial in just survival's sake. Just not only in the Underdark with the cult of Morgina, but also, in just any normal random dungeon diving that might have demigods, lurking about. We believe ourselves to be very powerful, and we know there to be much wealth of information, wealth in terms of items and magical power up in the Eye of Exrath. We are determined to go there, especially our friend Cassian here, very eager to go up to the Eye. Is there either any help you can offer us there, or anything we should be on the lookout for?
Any hags you know of?
Yeah.
Many
hags?
topics.
Yes.
Well,
Hags, sure. I didn't. That was the.
any hag? I mean, that's what we're going up there for.
I got like 3 more.
It's not up in the alley.
That it's up in that.
You have 3
area,
more
yeah.
questions. Do you want me to answer
Bob-
this first
Bob
and then we
and
move to your
Yeah,
question?
yeah. I got more stuff I could throw at you. I'm sorry to
Yes.
overwhelm you all at once.
Also, these rings.
That is very interesting that you are now chosen of Thanatos. That is
Please don't go around saying that too often to anybody.
no, that
It's
is
very frowned upon from what I've seen from people. It takes people aback quite a bit.
it is quite fascinating. Yes, not something you hear every day. And then to your hag, I don't know any hags now.
You don't know any hags?
I
Don't know
don't.
any little whereabouts of hags?
I don't know.
Hags?
Believe it or not, I've
Is there
been spending
Commander? You
most
don't
of
know
my
about that?
career focusing on the wars of attrition, the commanders of the battlefield, not mystical creatures that sometimes interfere with children and dim-witted individuals. So,
Do you have somebody that specializes in that? Might-
specializes in hags?
Well, mystical creatures and the whatnot, because it might get him an answer about his host and him an answer about his hags and that. I don't know.
There are members of the Lord's Court that are.
Have you heard of Bada Naboo?
From children's stories, yes.
Bada Naboo is wreaking havoc across the
Wreaking
land.
havoc, you say?
Yes.
She was the leader of the hags or something?
Archfey of hags. Yes.
Archfey, yes.
Who, as you can tell, I am from the Fey realm,
Yes.
and they never interfere with the mortal plane, and now they are. Now Bada Naboo is interfering with the mortal plane.
Which side is he interfering with?
I think people.
People in general.
Well,
Is it imperial
That would-
people or?
no. One of our party members, Reginald, who's is he here?
Could be
Reginald's here.
Okay.
He's just not talking.
Okay.
So.
could be colluding. We don't know.
I don't believe. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something. Here's a more practical question from where we're going with this. Do you have any sort of way we can access the forbidden parts of the library here in town, in Shadowstone? Any sort of strings you can pull to get us access there? There's a lot of great knowledge that would be invaluable, perhaps to your cause, as well as our own benefit of trying to figure out why we are in the middle of what seems to be some sort of hag blood feud of some sort.
Normally, we would never give permission of civilians to go into this matter, but given from what I've heard from Cynthia and the things that you have done for, realistically at this point, the Freelands, I can't think of a reason why not. So, very well. I'll write an order, and you and your compatriots here will be given free reign of the library.
I'll see you in a week.
This would be lovely.
So that is that. You had more questions there, friend.
I heard this story from one of the traders going around when I was younger.
Sure. What might you have heard?
There was a castle in Pike. I don't think I remember seeing it much while I was there. I might have seen it.
You would have definitely seen
Okay.
it. When you were in Pike, you would have definitely seen
It
it.
is the keep.
I've seen it.
It's like kind
I
of like
didn't get the magical
outside layers,
from
then inner layer, and then like there's a castle kind of standing in the top. of
Okay,
the
and I
city.
didn't get the magical word from it while I was there.
No.
I never noticed this myself, but he said through his travels, the castle seemed to almost beckon someone. Someone mentioned that they thought that might have been where the Lord got his start, where things began.
Well,
Do you know anything of that?
Well, the Lord did come into power in the holdout city of Pike. Before that, it was just a ruined city left over from the plague of the Deathwalkers.
Did he just pull from the deck many things?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear that?
I mean, that's what we speak about in the Fae, how they just came to power. Was just magically came up, and you have a magical item of something of worth that is something I'm on search for. And the deck of many things is one of those.
Where did you hear something about the deck of many things being contributing? You're losing me here. I'm sorry.
Last we heard, at least in my region, was it was in the holdout city of Pike, which means it just 2 and 2 together makes sense. The Lord probably drew from it at some point.
I actually don't believe the Lord's ever been in possession of the deck of many things.
It's all speculation.
It is speculation, that's for sure. It is quite fascinating. You're very curious for an Eldrin on the affairs of mortals. That's quite curious as
I'm
well.
here on a mission to join my Lord's court, and to bring back the most powerful or magical item, or what I think is now a story.
So tell me more about that.
What about? What would you like to know more about?
Well, you've apparently been doing things in service of the Lord's court and everything up to this point from everything I've been told, so how is it that we can assist in you? You have a high-ranking member of the Lord's Council and Lord's Court here in front of you. Perhaps there is a way that I could assist you in achieving your goal.
So
And show you that the Lord's Court is actually the good that we seek out to be.
What do I have? I had 30 days. So I have 30 days in the mortal plane to come back to my Lord with basically a reason, a story or a present, to present my Lord with something worthy of his grace, however you want to put it, to be granted a seat on his council. And from what I've noticed and what I've seen, it started with magic items. It was the most powerful item in the mortal plane, and the deck of many things was up there. But as I find, and I've been with this group only for a few days now, the story and the heartfelt of our friend over here and his wife, of how Bada Naboo has enslaved and trapped her, and we freed her, and now regaining and the connection between a husband and wife and solidifying that is where I perceive to achieve my goal, which brings me to my bottom of the blue question. It allows to prevent him or her, he or she, I don't remember what bottom of the blue is. She.
All hags are.
All hags are she.
Yeah.
Okay. What she's doing where she shouldn't be interfering with the mortal plane. Now, if that means assisting the free folk on my way, then so be it.
Then perhaps we could actually come to a point. This is all boiling to a head in my mind. We can actually help each other here. You just continue doing things in service of the freelance, all of you, and I can ensure you get a powerful magical item. You can then take back to your lord, and will all but guarantee that you retain that spot in the court that you so desire.
Much appreciated. Now, I'm not the leader of this group, so I can't just say yes for everybody.
Who is your leader then?
I don't even know if we have one.
I'd say we are
I'm
a
fairly
very
new to
equal
the
group of
like,
friends. I might be a little bit more one-track minded in terms of getting things, or seeing certain things through, or what have you, but I'm certainly here for the service of the Lord. I despise the Empire for destroying my home, and for causing all of this chaos when everything was fine before.
if you're willing to, just keep doing what you're doing. And as a result, I guess, being in service of the Lord and of the free lands, and helping Arthur in his efforts, as it seems, apparently, then I think that we are in an excellent spot. I can guarantee you that we will be providing you with a very powerful magical item when this war concludes. Which I believe to be in a very short time at this point. Very.
Sounds good to me.
Short time. Feels like we're quite in the beginning phases of a.
Only 2 years in. 3 years in.
Yeah. Quite the beginning phases of a conflict.
With the beginning phases, but I have reason to believe that this war will not persist for too much longer.
Interesting. Hopefully that's a good thing.
Well, we're dressed to the T. Armor.
Yeah,
I don't wear
we're just
armor,
bloody
but
as shit.
I know you had some additional questions there, friend. What was it, Sir Beldar?
I guess I got 2. What's this? Not his tattoo, the ring.
Oh.
Do you know anything about that?
May I see it? Here, if you could give me your hand.
what the fuck, man?
I believe it's a soul sigil, I believe.
Where's the paper?
One of 4 or one of
One of
Three.
2.
3?
Three. Three.
One of 3.
3 rings. 2 of them are in the whatever the fuck shit's called. Not the Underdark, but below that.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't remember what that's what I was
Yeah,
trying to-
I believe it is one of the soul sigils. I can't remember exactly how they came into existence, but
Fuck is
I think I remember at one point in the life of that ring, it was actually owned by the Lord himself, Vendar Coldros. And I believe it was given away to some adventurer at some point.
Yes. That was me.
Commanding Officer
Well,
Nathanial.
there we go.
Current happenings and we have a fucking letter to Nathaniel.
This is a lot of shit.
This isn't yours, is it?
That's something. Oh god, that's from something
Mr.
else. That's
Peterson.
completely awful. No, that's something else completely different. Something else completely tragic.
This isn't,
I don't know if you want to read that.
this isn't the second question. This is kind of coming off the first one.
Sure, but I hope I answered your question to your liking.
It confirms things. The Thieves Guild attacked me and Reginald, trying to find that because of its connection to the Lord. Do you know why they would want to do something like that?
Is it the RP shit?
I'm sorry. Can you
Holy fuck.
restate that for me? I
Here you go.
want to make sure I understand what it is you're asking.
So, short synopsis. We were at Rosbar, and we were very, very drunk at the moment, so I know this sounds kind of dumb, but excuse us. Ra apparently needed to speak to us outside. We went outside. It wasn't Ra, it was someone from the Thieves Guild. They were looking for him
Yeah.
because of that ring. And because of the connections it had to y'all. Do you know why? Can you provide any insight? I'm not really asking anything in particular. Just
They were trying to find the ring to get for themselves.
they were trying to find the ring because of the connections to the Lord's Court itself.
Well,
I don't think they were going after the ring per se, but more so, this may just be a warning, and it may not be any information. Because he had the ring, they wanted him dead because they thought he was connected to the Lord's Court.
that is very worrisome. This is true then?
I know that the Lord is adverse to Thieves Guild and illegitimate business in general.
The Lord's always been opposed to that. The only sanctioned guild that's really been working with the Lord explicitly has been the Bounty Hunters Guild. And it's because they are sanctioned and they do not go around stealing, conniving, and looting.
Do we bring it out?
What?
This was the sigil for the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's
Oh, I don't.
This is
I've
actually-
never seen it. Actually.
Oh, okay. So
Oh yeah, you weren't there for that. Yeah, you weren't there for that.
So I wasn't either. So you guys technically have this. So you're the one probably holding this at this point from people alive from the original group. So we are the IRS, hence our frickin' group chat name with the question mark, which I was going to change that today. But
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. but
well,
besides
listen.
the point.
So we were part of the Bounties Guild originally. We were doing bounties from city to city. That was our mission.
Gotcha.
The goal is to get to IVX Wrath sooner or later. One person died, other people died, people left. We had like 7 people at the table at one point.
Yeah.
But this is technically our sigil to be like, here you go, barkeep, give us a bounty. But it's frowned upon here in this city. Now, what did you just state about? I was too busy looking. What did you just state about that?
What I was saying was the only guild that the Lord himself really condones is the Bounty Hunters Guild, because they're legal, they're sanctioned, and they work with him through these efforts. They're law-abiding, they pay taxes, and they're allowed to operate.
Edard almost got killed when he entered this city because he dropped we're part of the Bounty Hunters Guild. And I'm like, okay, you're dead, bye. And they walked away. That's literally almost happened day one into the city.
Because this particular city, they work with the Lord, they're not specifically tied to the Lord, and they don't allow for guild activity to happen within the city walls.
We're missing papers. I'm missing my shit about the ring.
Oh, like all the sheets of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave you guys those, so
We can look them.
Yeah,
over
I'm
later,
just,
but-
yeah.
but
But I knew which ring was yours by deduction of reading those 3 paragraphs.
yeah.
So I could technically tell you what it is. I just don't remember what that
Was that the stuff posted in Discord?
It might be in the Discord. Yeah, it might be in the Discord.
Because that was when we were in the library. Learned
Yeah.
about that.
No, but he literally gave me pieces of paper.
I did too, but it might also be in the Discord.
I don't know.
All right. So anyway,
So, I think my last question. I don't know.
But so what you're saying though is they're after the ring, and they want Arthur dead for having and possessing the ring that once belonged to the Lord's court.
Seems like they're after the Lord's Court in general. And anybody connected, affiliated, tied to with any means. I mean, Arthur had the ring.
What color's your ring?
They went after him for that. Thank God he wasn't with us that night.
That would make
I don't
sense.
remember.
Colors.
I don't remember the details of it.
I think it's red.
That would make sense. I do feel like if the Thieves Guild would have gotten word of the fighting in the city, maybe they even knew that this particular war would start happening before it happened. It would make sense that they would try to do everything to undermine the Lord and undermine the Lord's court to ensure that the Empire wins. So it would make sense.
Well,
And if they are going after this, they're going after this relic. I think we only have but one choice then. If your group would allow it, I believe we need to provide you with additional security.
well,
Didn't see that coming out of today's.
wouldn't that make us more obvious?
It would, but it would also serve as a great deterrent. If they are actively searching and trying to hunt you down, we do have members of the special operations units that would be in the region. There are some actually in the vicinity of the city right now. While I can't speak of their exact locations, we can bring some of them over and have them actually operate as special protection, looking for any thieving, conniving, or other dangerous activities. You wouldn't even know they are there. But they would be there.
This is a.
If you are doing great services to the Lord and His cause, and you are trying to help us repel these enemy invaders, I believe the only just and right thing to do, given how you were given a great gift from the Lord, and now you're being targeted for it, you shouldn't have to forfeit it. You shouldn't have to live in fear. With everything else that you have apparently been doing, all of you, it only makes sense that we would put some of our best on this cause. We need to ensure that all of you remain safe and in good health.
Well, I guess they suspected me of being an agent for the Lord's Court, and now this only confirms it. So, is there any sort of special sigil or some sort of badge that would represent the Lord's authority that we can perhaps use to leverage in order to, whether it's to get information from mayhaps business owners or anything
in
of the like?
places commoners cannot.
The Korean dragon.
I'll extend the order. I was just going to give you temporary permissions in order to enter the library in the restricted sections. I'll give you an official seal of the Lord himself. While it won't be signed from the Lord, I've only met with the Lord once since being in the city. It won't have his official signature, but it will be a signature from myself with the Lord's stamp and sigil. That should operate as permissions.
Does that mean the Lord's in the city?
Ooh.
The Lord is in the city, yes.
Well, he might have been at one point.
No, that's
I've only met with him once in the city, and it's only been but one time.
So he could still be in the city.
I don't know, but I do know for sure that I've met with him once.
And I believe it is probably out of the realm of possibility for meeting with the Lord himself.
Yeah, this is not going to happen.
Okay, I figured.
You wouldn't be allowed to meet with the Lord like that, no.
So you were thinking we need more protection for times to come, right? Adding people with us.
Yes, bolstering your numbers while not directly in your lines, in the surrounding areas, watching, waiting. Our special operations teams are very, very skilled. Even in the densest of woods, you shouldn't know that they're there. Even in the widest of fields, you would not know that they're watching. They are highly skilled with long range.
So as you can see, we're able to hold our own.
You are. But I do believe this to be best.
No argument. More numbers, as nothing against that. But I guess we passed through an array of. We passed an armory. We passed plenty of things. I have a few things here that I don't technically, preferably need or can use. Are we able to potentially swap for something equal of value and equal as?
I understand what you're getting at.
I hold the 3 weapons that I.
And that kind of goes into my last thing. My whole goal when I left was to go to the Eye of Exrath, learn more about the Giant's power and everything, all these fables, tales, legends that I grew up on. Do you have anything that might help me along the way?
Just add it to it.
Here's what I can do.
Instead of 1 item, can we take 2?
Here's what I can do.
Hey, I'm offering to trade, okay? Sorry, go ahead.
The order that I'll be giving you with my signature and the seal, the official seal of Lord Lendock Coldrose, it will allow you permission to basically do as if you were the Lord himself, if you will. You'll be able to act with his authority.
Point the
Remember the nat 20?
Can we go back to that sous chef and just like...
You'll be able to act as if you practically had the Lord's authority himself. Now, I caution restraint, but that would also mean you could essentially get your way into the Eye of Exrath free of charge. Does that suffice?
It does.
And hopefully in this act of hospitality, it also shows how good the free folks really are. And how honest and true our Lord and his cause is. We want nothing but to help and enable people to be free and live the life they choose to live.
I have another question. Perhaps.
Why not?
Perhaps. I know the Lord of. I know. Of course, the Thieves Guild is looking for me, and that's disheartening. And you've offered protection. This is great. What if you offered something? Sorry, I'm not asking you to offer more. What if we go a little further on the offensive side rather than on a reactive side? What if?
What sense?
Well, the Bounty Hunters Guild is a sanctioned organization that is allowed to operate within the Freelands, whereas the Thieves Guild is not.
Yes.
Perhaps we can put out a bounty on the Thieves Guild, similar to how the Lord put a bounty on basically every Imperial ship, or any Imperial officer, any Imperial in general.
We can do that, but
Or you might not have the answer to this now, but this is perhaps a thought to pass along. And
it is a good thought. I will provide a little bit of clarity. There was actually a bounty hunters group that came into the city, in the holdout city of Pike, and they were explicitly sanctioned to go clear out the sewers and exterminate what would have been the Thieves Guild, while we knew that they were all centrally located in one location. And unfortunately, they failed that mission, and they were imprisoned, and they were executed. Well, I would assume that they were executed. That during the fires and the flames of the city, I'm assuming that they died in the cause. But all that to say, we have tried setting out multiple bounties on that particular organization before, and they've not been fruitful. But we can definitely set out bounties again if that is what would potentially help the situation. And I lean towards agreeing with you that that could prove very helpful.
as opposed to relying on a solid defense, could always ensure they won't come after me if they just don't exist.
Perhaps that would be the plan then.
I don't know.
What we'll do... No, this is quite a good idea, actually. Thank you very much, Arthur. What perhaps we'll do instead is we will have a small detail watching you for a couple days, and we will actually sanction the rest of our special operations unit, in addition to the bounties, to go out and search, destroy, and eliminate all of what would be the remainder of the Bounty Hunters Guild. Perhaps we can even pull in some favors from the Blighted Lords, maybe help them gain favor within the Lord and his court. By doing this, we might be able to actually create more of a centralization of favor towards the Lord within the city, while the Blighted Lords haven't taken sides. Perhaps if we tell them they'll do this for a great payoff, then the Blighted Lords might be willing to help in this effort. Perhaps.
I think that is a solid plan.
Could always use you as bait.
Well, they're already looking for me,
Yeah.
so it was just chance that I had left early that evening when you guys had, when Reginald had been attacked.
There still will be a detail around you, though.
Unseen detail.
Unseen. Hopefully you'll never know they were there.
Good. I can probably forget about it.
Well, I think we've taken up too much of your time already today. Is there anything else?
We mentioned we're going to the Eye of Exrath for our own several different purposes. You for learning more of Giant's power. You for wanting to just find a more powerful relic.
Yeah, and him.
And Reginald for going after Bob and Abu. Is there anything we can, while we are there and now have free access to the Eye, is there anything there that we could possibly look for and fetch for the Lord and the cause that they've been looking for?
You watch he kind of starts like fiddling through one of his little pouches. Watch he puts this stone on the table. Do you know what this is?
Do I know what it is?
Roll Arcana.
Do I know who this is?
Roll Arcana.
I guess I'll roll Arcana.
Roll Arcana.
Good luck. I mean, I got
a dirty 20.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, which is very fitting for my character.
It's difficult for you to even see over the table as you're kind of looking at it.
So I rolled a nat 20.
Wait.
Hold on.
Oh no.
But I have exhaustion. So I rolled a 23.
Okay.
Because I have a +8.
Okay. So both of you are going to end up.
Oh, damn.
It's okay. You're
This
fine.
wouldn't be a history check in any way, right?
No. This is strictly Arcana. This
So-
is our specialty.
So both of you guys are going to recognize it immediately as it gets placed on the table. And you're going to recognize that what it is a sending stone.
Sending some?
Okay.
Sending stone.
Yes.
Yes. Do you know what this is?
So rock.
I put it there.
No, he said. I think he said yes. I do know what this is.
Yeah, sorry.
Not as a question.
Yes, you know what this is?
Yes, I do know what this is.
Looks like a rock.
It's not just a boulder.
It's a rock.
It is a rock, but it's a very magical rock.
Well,
It's a sending stone for your friend. Here, Arthur. I'll leave this in your care. It has an activation of once per day. By activating this, it will send a message directly to me. 25 words. And I can send directly to you as well. If we require anything, or if you require anything ever, use away.
Is there any? I don't know if you have any special properties on this. Is there any back and forth allowed, or is it just one sentence each way and that's it for the day?
Back and forth, one usage. Unfortunately, I don't have the greater ones on me. I just have an extra pair that we use to communicate with the rest of the group, but as some of them have no longer needed them as they're working right next to me,
I can
I've been holding on to
around.
them. The rest of my compatriots aren't very far away. Now, anything else that you require? I've heard from Cynthia that you will actually be walking over and speaking with what I believe to be the commander of the
Yes.
Legionnaires.
Because Commander Ra is partial to the Free Folk
He is.
and the Lord's cause.
He is.
And I do believe if we sway the Blighted Lords in our favor as well, or excuse me, the Lords, the whole Free Folk, I'll just say it's our favor, whatever. I've pretty much adopted this cause as well. Yes, it does trouble me that this city is not taking part in the conflict, and specifically that it seems that the people and those willing within the city are quite eager to participate and help the cause. And perhaps Uham the Bold, who seems only concerned with, his coin purse and his, I guess, prosperity. Perhaps he can be finally outed from this place, or maybe we can force his hand into siding and taking a stance. Therefore, not making this this place such a bog and quagmire of confusion and subterfuge, imperial agents. If this was truly a stronghold of the Lord and the Free Folk, perhaps that might serve us better. Maybe we can have that discussion with Commander Ra. I don't know if you meet with him separately on occasion, but he's quite
I do, actually.
quite dedicated.
I might actually be meeting with him shortly after you do. I might even pop into the tail end of your conversation with him, just as there are a couple matters that we need to discuss before I am leaving the area.
That's fair enough. Okay. Well, I think there's lots of marching orders here as to what can be done and what we'll do next.
Very good.
Anything else, gents? I think that's it.
Well, gentlemen, and Cynthia, of course, thank you so much for your time, and feel free to enjoy the rest of your, I guess would be lighter lunch at this point. Enjoy that, and feel free to partake in the rest of the wine. I will leave you to it, and I suppose perhaps I'll even see you in the commander's chambers. Well, hopefully we'll hear from each other soon.
I do want to stand up.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Been nice having
Nathanial.
conversation.
You watch as he like stands up, puts his hands to the side, and then immediately ends up going and putting his hand across his shoulder and says, "Let freedom reign."
I want to go up and like stand up and reach for his hand and like shake his hand. And okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Done an exceptional job.
I just kind of, oh, okay, we're doing handshakes.
My hand's really cold.
Let's go really
Mine's
far.
the other way around.
It's been nice to
Yep.
learn something,
It's been an absolute pleasure.
understand a little bit.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I do hope that we will meet again. In the circumstances of our meeting, speaking towards our victory, as we've taken back the free lands from the invaders, and we reclaim what truly is free. You watch as he begins kind of marching out the door. Not marching, but yeah,
Strides in.
strides in. So he's going to end up walking out the door, and you hear the door kind of closes behind you. Now it's just a lot of you staying there in the room.
Wow.
He seems nice.
I like.
Yeah, cool. I guess I didn't know what to expect, but that was way better than expected. I hope you all don't mind. I've committed ourselves to this cause.
I'm pretty sure I committed us to that cause from agreeing that for a magic item.
I'm gonna kind of whisper to him, but like, I still think nobles are full of shit. But at least he seems nice.
I mean, he might appear to be nobility, but perhaps, he has some sort of low-born roots. Just because he's a commander of an army doesn't necessarily mean he didn't earn that from merit. Typically, he's probably a soldier at some point. So it could be very salt of the earth.
He speaks like a politician, though.
Very well
Politician,
spoken.
though.
Yeah, it's fair. Then again, some people might say that I talk that way.
Damn right.
Though I just try to be just diplomatic and not try to upset anyone.
That would be a politician.
That is
Speaks
Yep.
diplomatic.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
All right then, sure. All right.
You kind of threw yourself under the bus on that one.
Okay.
Sorry,
I suppose so.
I still like you though. So
Well, that's good.
So let's, I guess, we
do shit the same color for the most
we're
part.
not meeting. We're all in the same building, right?
Or bleed the same
Separate
color.
You're actually going to be meeting him somewhere. You don't know
Same
where.
building?
Yeah, somewhere in this
I
building.
looked at my shits.
You guys don't have. You guys aren't in a rush or anything, so you can kind of sit here and chat.
Well, how about we? I mean, do you guys
Can we
want
take
to
a long rest?
You guys could take a short rest here if you wanted to.
I was gonna say let's go check out the armory.
Why don't we do that after the short?
I'm good on the armory. I'm fucking set for good. Like,
I just want to switch up.
I need a lot of stuff.
So he didn't explicitly say this, but you would definitely know that the Scale Legionnaires aren't actually the men of the Lord in his court.
Yeah.
So
The armory walk through doesn't necessarily willing to give what we want.
yeah, you'd probably assume it's less than likely because they explicitly work for Uham the Bold, and they are not tied to the Lord. They're just accommodating. Think of it as more like a mercenary group that happens to work for Uham the Bold and keeps.
But where's their fucking armory?
So
Because they have one somewhere.
I mean, they definitely have one in the Holdout City Pike. I'll tell you that much.
Well, yes, but we're not in the holdout city of it.
You are correct.
So they definitely bring an arsenal with them when they travel. So
maybe it's with the army that's traveling.
It's a good idea.
I'm not saying this is anything.
It might be cooking a little.
I'm not saying this is anything y'all can fix. I'm not saying this is anything y'all have to handle. I'm just gonna vocalize. After fighting that demigod, I realized my shit's not doing too great.
what's your shit?
Well,
We do shit the
I
same
got a
color.
great sword that's a +1, and that's about it.
Okay.
So
Maybe you can
at
get
some
something
point,
with
I'm gonna have to
200 gold.
figure out something else, especially before we go to the Eye of Extra.
Could you use this? And I hold up a hand axe +2.
Yeah, I could definitely use that.
There you go.
Still gonna find another way to bolster something.
You wanted that right for throwing?
Oh yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
okay.
I did.
And place your
realize
javelin.
that-
So
Yeah, that'll replace my javelin. But I did realize when I use my ability, my great axe can become a throwing weapon.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
you still, yeah.
So let me add that. But I am gonna need to find a way to bolster myself just to touch.
I mean, I wouldn't be throwing that fucking great sword. Or great axe much. Up to you. I mean, if you're not going to use the hand axe, I'll use it for other shit.
Oh no, I'll definitely replace my javelin.
Okay. So I'm going to delete it from +2. How far away was the armory that we walked past?
It's in the same building, right?
Yeah, it's like
down the
definitely.
hall, kind of towards the
Towards the entrance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't give us like the paper with the writ or whatever that we're getting with like the Lord's.
No, he didn't give you anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll have to get that somehow from him. Well, if we're meeting with Commander Raw next,
Are we waiting for him to do that?
You wouldn't know explicitly.
No, him. Reginald.
before we talk to Raw?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you guys kind of determine that like you're gonna put a pause on it, then we're probably going to like cut it there. So
Okay. Well, I want to try.
just so we have like a clean in.
That's what I figured. That's why I wanted to ask before.
Yeah.
We walked through it, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that's clear because my perception wasn't very good at that roll time.
No. And you do have disadvantage, and your passive is still.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was gonna kind of just walk in and see if anybody was just kind of hanging out in that area.
Okay. So I guess it's just going to be you two hanging out in the room then with Cynthia, and then you're going to walk out really quick and go ahead and check that out. Yeah. So as you end up walking onto the room, you are going to see where there are a couple of guards sitting at the table. So a couple of them are eating bread and just kind of talking, and there's some others that looks like they're actually like checking in and out with some weapons from the armory areas.
So is this the armory here?
Oh yeah, this is the armory. What do you need? Wait, who are you? What are you doing out here?
Oh, I'm Cassian. We just had a meeting. Like, we're the same guards that we told the Green Dragon to.
This is a different one.
Different set. Okay. We've had a few meetings with some commanders of the Free Folk, the Lord's Keep, Lord's Court. And we were walking past and I saw the armory and it looked. I found this.
It's okay. He came in from the back room. Oh, okay. All right.
Boy. So I found. I have this, and I kind of hold up a great sword +1. I said I don't really have much use for this, and then it doesn't really mean anything to me. But I kind of look. Can I see into their stuff, or is it more of a door?
You can kind of see through the grates and everything, yeah.
Okay, I'm looking to see if there's kind of looking. Do you have any rapiers potentially you might want to just swap?
Well, what do you think this is?
Yeah, just figured I'd ask.
Your local traders?
Just figured I'd ask.
We don't go trading with outsiders there, fellow.
It's fine. Oh well. I just turn around and leave. I'm sad and depressed anyway, so I'm not gonna fight.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Alright, well,
By the gods.
thanks, man. Thanks for the chat. Hope you guys have a good day.
Okay, bye.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Alright.
So I just kind of go back into the room.
Okay. What did you guys want to be doing when he was out there?
Eat short rest.
Eat, short rest. Okay.
So I can do cat nap. Or if you actually want to take, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that.
So I mean, it really just depends time frame wise on what you guys want to do. So that's
It's
what
10 minutes versus an hour, basically.
Yeah, but are we gonna pause at the 10 no matter what?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Unless you guys want to talk or something. So.
I'm giving us the ability. So catnap, you get a short rest in 10 minutes instead of an hour. So time you have to be
I mean, if
willing.
we're not hurting for the hour, I think you should.
Well,
see.
I think it depends potentially.
It'll help us at least not feel as bad. Or maybe.
Well,
get
no,
some-
I'm saying if we have the hour to burn before another meeting,
what do
why
we
waste?
do is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm asking.
Well, we have a meeting with Raw like shortly after this bit.
How shortly after this bit? How
Not-
much time has passed?
Not.
He did say we could take a short rest in this room.
Yeah, you could take a short rest in that
He
room.
did say we could do that. So if we want to do that, we can. But I wanted to throw that out there that I can cast catnap to allow us to do that.
What if we have 2 short rests?
catnap than another short rest.
Yeah.
You regain more health.
I mean,
Roll your hit die twice.
can't use it. Don't get me wrong. I'm barely stumbling along, but
I'm like, short rest is fine. If we want to call it there, that's fine too.
A couple things I would like to discuss real quick.
just
So, we're getting, the Lord's authority to do whatever,
alright.
which is quite much more than expected. Apparently, we've proven ourselves useful, and I believe we have, considering the trouble that we've all gone through.
Yes.
However many times we've almost died. So, anyway. So, we're eventually going to go to the library to learn more about all of these different things. The question is, do we want to go to the library before we want to go to the Eye in order to learn more about what might be there? Or do we just want to go to the Eye with what we know?
So I guess technically I have completed reading a book of the history of XRF, like recently.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go into history about that, we can talk about that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I did just finish reading that book.
I would love to know that. It doesn't have to be at this moment.
But I'm just letting you know.
I
I
think
did
we
just
should
finish a good read of the history of XRF. If you want to talk about it, I'm going to have to go to him for what I actually know. But I mean, Doug hasn't actually told me. He's just he completed the book.
I would love to swing by someone that has some sort of trader just to see what there is. I haven't had a chance to look in this town. I think we should probably hit the library before we leave.
Oh,
because
okay.
God knows what may happen up at the Eye. Who knows if we'll even make it back here.
Who's the trader you guys traded with Scorn?
For which parts?
You guys, we traded a fuck ton of shit. I bought you all your shit.
Oh God.
Who wasn't that here?
Yeah, it was definitely in the city. I just don't remember where. I don't think it was.
We loaded a bus, and I bought a shit ton of stuff from him.
Roll history.
Well, it wasn't me.
I wasn't here for it.
19.
Fuck yeah.
Kibo.
Kibo. Is he still in the city?
Yeah,
How did Kibo still here?
We need to figure that out. Because we can get a hell of a deal from him.
Oh my
or
God.
you can.
I want to invest in Kibo's shop. I want to get him a fucking storefront.
I don't know if we talked our way through shit, if we bribed our way through shit. Like, I don't know, or we just...
There's a lot of shit happening.
We got so much shit from him, it was stupid. I also had a fuck ton of gold.
He made a killing off us for sure.
Well, I had like 5,000 gold.
Yeah.
Damn.
I actually had like 6,000 gold on Scorn, and it's all gone. It's with his dead body. Nobody took
We
it.
also lost like a mythical ass bow.
Yeah, I know about
Yeah,
the bow. I
that's
didn't
very
know about all the gold.
Oh, I had like I'm curious. How much gold did I have?
But yes,
was a lot.
I definitely think we should investigate tie up as many loose ends in this city as we can before going, because there's always the chance shit happens while we're out and we can't come back.
Very true.
I mean, we've already seen Pike.
Oh, I missed the Stein. Oh,
The Stein was helpful.
that
Yeah.
was very helpful. We can get another one from
So
Zephyrus.
we're going to, at least very shortly here after this, after we kind of relax for a few, going to speak to Commander Raw. Perhaps he can provision us in some sort of way, helpfully.
Where's that sword you had? Didn't you grab a sword from our mini boss?
He's got all that shit. He's about to put it on.
The sword?
You have all of it.
I remember a cloak and a.
There was a sword
There was
too.
a-
There was a weapon.
There was a cloak,
There was a
sword,
weapon.
there was a
I don't know. I don't know
there
what
was-
this.
Cloak.
Actually, I think it was
Cloaks.
4 items.
There was a cloak, so a cloak,
I
Armor.
remember that.
a sword. The cloak was been like the shoulder plaids and everything,
Yep.
right? Yep. So there was the shoulder. Well, no.
Dark
Yeah.
Knight.
So a cloak. So there was a cloak. There was a cloak. I think there was a mantle. Which I think that I can't. I don't think that was a cloak though. I
The
can't.
mantle is the cloak.
Mantle was the cloak. So then it was also the armor and it was also the sword.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about what y'all got out of the. You guys talked about magic items. What did you guys get?
Alright.
Because we haven't talked.
Shadow Veil armor.
Okay, what is that considered?
It is scale mail.
Is it all of it in our stuff? And
Yeah, I have it in my.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's actually if I look up in inventory, like, okay, so
So Shadow Veil armor,
hold on, Shadow Veil. I can't wear it anyways. It's because I don't wear armor. So go ahead, next.
Dark Wraith Culling, Culling.
I can look at your inventory.
No, you can just search the weapons.
Search the items.
Search the item, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding just so I can look at it in a second. Alright, Dark Wraith Calling. What's the other one?
And Mantle of the Dark Wraith.
Mantle. The Dark Wraith.
Which I can put the sword on for the great axe, but if you got something that you want to do with it,
Well,
Remember too, that sword is not a great weapon, so it's not going to apply in your great weapon fighting stuff. It's just under versatile.
I'm with martial weapons and simple weapons as well.
No, I mean like, so I'm pretty sure you have great weapon fighting, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you have great weapon fighting. Okay, never mind.
I have. Are you talking about a feat?
Yeah.
I have Savage Attacker and I have.
Do you have a fighting style?
you should.
I don't know if barbarians do fighting style.
I don't remember.
So.
I think just fighters and like rangers.
I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing that anywhere.
Well, paladins also do it, but
Yeah, Paladins. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Alright, so Mantle the Dark Wraith. You have resistance.
I would just double check that. But yeah, that is something to
take
consider.
necrotic damage.
I have Strictly Storm Giants and Savage Attacker. Are my 2 feats.
Oh. That's
So as long as you're not locked into like a particular style weapon, then yeah, you have a lot more versatility as a barbarian.
Martial weapons, simple weapons.
Is martial great? Is that considered?
Martial.
Martial's just like simple versus martial weapons.
I know, but I'm saying is that great swords, great axes? Is
Those are martial.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
martial. Yeah.
Um,
Like simple weapons, basically think of like if a peasant can pick this up and do some damage with it, that's what would be considered a simple weapon.
Quarterstaff, club,
Yep.
sling,
Dagger.
these nuts.
These.
oh, great. We have to charge this thing again.
Do we have to go to some sort of
Fucking shrine.
pool?
Wait,
We
which
have to
one?
go to another pool to charge the weapon.
Which one?
Pool.
The fucking the Dark Wraith Calling.
Read it to me.
This blade, it just says when you hit your first enemy while this weapon is charged, you deal an additional or take 2d6 necrotic damage. You can do this. I don't know. That doesn't sound right in there.
How many? Yeah, there's nothing.
There's no
about how many charges it has.
Yeah,
if it replenishes.
If you look at it, it should say it recharges and replenishes.
No, you didn't.
Unless like the version of it didn't update for some reason on my computer.
Yeah, it didn't.
Not that I can see. There's like one bit. I can read that.
But the sentence at the bottom says you deal an additional or take. Like, what does that mean? How do you determine?
It might not have updated them
Yeah. So.
because it should have.
If he hits you.
Well, like
you have it in your inventory, right?
I mean, I do now, but I think
You
he
just
does.
added it.
I just added just to see it.
Yeah, and that's in my inventory now.
To quickly go back and forth between them. Are you planning on utilizing any of those?
Not the sword, but everything else. Yes, the mantle and armor.
Okay, so you're gonna throw
Wow,
out shit.
I really don't like how this is set up.
Yeah, I don't either.
The app is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Man, this is.
I'm on the website. Like, I mean,
I don't use the app. I use this. I use the
I'm on the
website.
website.
Yeah, I use the
Oh, really?
website too.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the website too.
Maybe I should do that.
Like the website,
Well-
literally. You can,
Bro, I legit don't. Okay, I'm gonna go to action. Maybe that's where it is.
and the reason I went to the website was because we were at our other session, and I kept looking over your shoulder and seeing this. And then I opened the app, and it looked completely different, and I was like, oh.
It's like this looks miserable.
Yeah. It was like I never tried to figure out the app has figured out more and more.
Yeah, no, it says when you hit a weapon, when you hit an enemy while this weapon is charged, you deal an additional.
Or take.
so-
Or take doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so the or take just is supposed to be there. You deal an additional 2d6 necrotic damage. You may do this once per short rest, so that's your charge.
Oh, once per short rest.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
For that one.
I would need to become proficient in longswords, but I think I'm the only one here that would actually use it. Unless he would.
Yeah.
Can you use longswords?
They're martial, right?
Yeah, so you're the only one that can actually technically use it right now.
So if you want, I could.
That doesn't matter to me.
That was more so when I was referencing everything. Like, I can't wear armor, but like, I
can't
could
wear
find
armor.
a ring, or I could find a cloak, or like anything else
I'm the
to
same way.
kind of Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
I think we can get that stuff from Zephyr's shop for sure.
But
Like
I mean,
enchanted
I'll
rings
gladly-
or
Yeah, I mean, right now
think
I
it's
have a
beneficial?
cloak of protection. So I guess the question for you is: would you rather have a cloak of protection, or would you rather have the necrotic one?
I'm keeping the
That's
necrotic
fine.
one for sure.
That's fine.
If I'm gonna be, you know, like
It
the
fits your-
purple
it fits
armed
your
bad
shit.
guy at this
all your
point, you know.
Well, it's,
Con, right?
yeah.
Huh?
All that stuff goes off con, right? Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I have a pretty good constitution in long run.
This would help me a lot. Either way, we have to attune to all of it, so it'll still take a long rest per item.
I'm not sure.
You can
So,
tune on
yeah.
a short rest.
Long rest.
Yeah, it has to be. Has to be long.
Yeah.
It's gotta be long.
I'm almost certain that we've just looked at that in our other campaign. Dan, am I wrong? Did we not look at it with the loot?
You did look at it.
That was you scooped up their shit. Nothing else popped up,
We wanted to go to the loot room,
but you couldn't get in.
but we couldn't. We didn't have time
Okay.
to even try to open
Just
the
checking. I just wanted to-
We wanted
Assuming a
to.
magic item requires a short rest.
You're gonna trust Google Gemini, bro?
Cool.
Yeah.
No, it is correct though.
Okay.
It is correct.
Oh, so
It
maybe we
is-
can take 2 short rests here.
Yeah, actually. Bro, that's good. That actually might be a viable strategy then.
Wait, so we didn't take a short rest? Should I have added health?
No, not yet. We haven't technically.
We've
done
just been
that.
chatting before we kind of like
We've been
wrap
chatting and yeah.
just want to get the plan down.
So. I mean, yeah.
Do you have to be conscious to like attune to the item?
I think you do because it's like
I feel like you have to be
you have
conscious.
to, it's just the amount of time more so that you spend.
I feel like that's what it
Hey, 10 minutes, man.
Drinking, reading, or tenders.
10 minutes. That's all it takes.
Wake me up in 10 minutes.
is. to an item. Catnap. I'm just gonna see. I'm sure somebody's asked that
No,
question before.
it does. It gives you the full effect of a short rest.
But that's when you're still sleeping. You know.
So you can make a calming gesture to up to 3 willing creatures of your choice that you can see blah 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 blah. Within range fall unconscious for the spell's duration.
Yeah.
So that means you can't probably attune.
Yeah, you can't attune to it because you have to like it's all about you focusing on the object and doing it. If you're unconscious, I don't think you can focus on anything.
Okay.
What if I just like fell asleep with it in my hand?
So
It's like twinkle, twinkle.
so that being said,
As long as you're caressing it during the sleep, I think you're fine.
I can only do this once per long rest.
Well, we're going to take a long rest like soon hereafter. Once we like wrap up our
Just like
shit
I
here,
mean, you never know.
once we have our meeting
I
with
might open
Raw,
the door again.
we're like gonna go to fucking
I'm not
sleep.
opposed.
Yeah, because you have 2 levels of exhaustion, right? And you have 1 or 2.
One.
I have 2, yeah.
You have 2.
But I can get rid of mine and you're 1 long rest. I can get rid of both mine because I'm an elf.
Oh,
So it's half the amount. I just sleep for 8 hours.
Gotcha.
Well, you don't really sleep. You meditate.
I meditate for 8 hours. Whatever. So it's up to you, dude. If you want me to, I'm gonna delete this shit from mine. I'm not against the longsword, but I don't have proficiency. That's the only thing that I can't really do. So it doesn't really work for me. So if you want the longsword,
Sure.
I mean that's you got to talk to him about.
I'm good with
something.
that.
So
What was the name of it again?
Dark Wraith, 1 word.
Dark Wraith calling.
Yeah.
Space calling.
That's curling.
R-A.
If you just enter
I-
Dark Wraith, it should
Yeah.
just pop up.
Yeah.
No result. Let me try to figure it out.
Through the application.
I think he wants my short sword of felt too. I think we could. What are you looking at?
Attunement, just in general. Just curious. Because I also don't know if you're allowed to attune to more than one weapon, or like more than one thing.
You can't attune to more than one thing in one short rest.
Yeah.
You can attune
You
to
can
up
have
to 3 items. It's only 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so up to 3 items you can be attuned to.
Even like that on D&D, but yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Is
You
this
have
a
3
custom
spots.
weapon? Or
Yes.
is this something?
It is. Yeah, it's a custom one. Is it not showing up? Because
Are you in our
you might not be in the
campaign?
campaign. That might be
Oh.
You're also not in the Discord.
Yeah, I know.
kind of fake.
What's your name in the Discord?
Rocco.
You should be in the campaign, I thought.
Yeah, I'm in the campaign.
I don't see you in the Discord.
Rocco Public.
Okay, let me see. So,
I'm in the campaign.
Do we want to just end the stream so people can leave?
This is important business.
yeah, we can go ahead.
Just saying, wrap it up.
Yeah,
Like
so
we're just doing formalities.
It's fine, yeah. If you guys are just trying to figure things out, we can go ahead there. All right, well, sorry, y'all. We're just kind of trying to figure out a couple things to make sure we were like good, I guess. So we're good now. But anyways, we'll be back at it again here next week. I know David's not going to be here, but hopefully we'll have Oscar back and be having another lovely sit-down conversation where Oscar will have the opportunity to not just speak to the commander, but might also have a chance, depending on how things go, with the roles. Also, Commander Nathanial, because he wasn't here for this, so we'll see how that goes. But RNG gods, be with us, and we'll see y'all here next week. There you go. Thanks for watching.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Um,